But let's go through some of the examples. Here we go, okay? Okay, here we go. Okay, let's read it together. Here we go, okay? Example 1. The Great Fire of 1906 in San Francisco was preceded by the worst earthquake in U.S. history, estimated to measure 8.3 on the Richter scale. To make matters worse, the earthquake caused an enormous fire that actually caused more damage to the city than did this earthquake. Right? After the fire, the massive destruction that ensured the city began its long and slow rebuilding process. The citizens of San Francisco pitched in to rebuild the city as quickly as possible. But the thriving city was hobbled nevertheless. Okay? Now, it's just a short passage, right? But see the little squares up here, down here, over on the left-hand side, middle, and then the left one, right? If you take a look at this, right? Okay. Now you have to look at the 4 squares, okay, that indicate where the sentence could be added in the passage. Now the sentence is here. This double disaster would mark the city's daily life for years to come. Okay. Now, where would it be best fit in? Okay. Where would you think you put it in? Okay. So this is how I want you to do this section. Okay. I need you to click on and put it in and see how it sounds. Now, the thing is, put it in all 4, please. Just because you put in 1, you go, I know what the answer is, okay? Because you might be wrong. It might be because there's another method or there's another place that it sounds better. Okay? So let's check it out. Okay, let's check out the first one. Okay, here we go. Okay, if we put in the first square here, right? Okay, it looks like this, right? Okay. The Great Fire of 1906 in San Francisco was preceded by the worst earthquake in U.S. history, estimated to measure 8.3 on the Richter scale. This double disaster would mark the city's daily life for years to come. Okay, let's check. Now, does it make sense? Well, it really doesn't, right? The sentence after, right? To make this worse, okay? We haven't read the second one, right? To make this worse, the earthquake caused an enormous fire, which actually caused damage to the city. Okay? Now, if we put that sentence before that, right? Does it really make sense? No, it doesn't. And also take a look at the actual thing. It says, this double disaster. That means there's gotta be 2, at least 1 or 2, not 1, 2 disasters in front of it to make up these double disasters. Okay? But if you take a look at the sentence, it doesn't. It just tells you it was 8.3 on the Richter scale. It's very difficult. It was a huge disaster, right? But it doesn't really tell you there was a double disaster. Okay, so something's got to be there that has to tell you something before. Okay. So let's see. Let's put in the second one. Boom. There you go. Okay. Now, the earthquake caused an enormous fire, which actually caused more damage to the city than it did in the earthquake. So the first one was what? It was the worst earthquake. It had an enormous fire, right? Okay. And then the earthquake, right? So it does kind of make sense, doesn't it? Now you have 2, what? Disasters. The fire is one, and the other one is what? Take a look, everyone. Earthquake, right? Does it make sense? Yeah, okay, let's check. But you still have to continue. Please, put it in another one too, okay? Let's check another one. Okay, here we go. The third one, after the fire and the massive destruction that ensued, sorry, okay? The city began its long and slow rebuilding process. Okay? Now, the sentence before this talks about what, everyone? Rebuilding process. It doesn't talk about the disaster, does it? So, no, it doesn't go there. It can't. Okay? The sentence has to fill in, or it has to collaborate, or it has to be linked up with the previous sentence. Okay? You can't just have it on its own. Okay? Just because it said it before doesn't mean another sentence after kind of ruined it. Okay? Let's try the last one. Okay, here we go. The citizens of San Francisco pitched in to rebuild the city as quickly as possible, but the thriving city was hobbled nevertheless. Okay? Now, if that's the case, then the double disaster would mark the city's, okay? The double disaster. Did it talk about double disaster? No. What did it talk about again? It talked about how hobbled nevertheless, right? That means it's gonna have trouble nevertheless, right? It only talks about hobbled. It doesn't talk about the two disasters. So, back again, what is the best fit? You got it. It's gotta be the second one, okay? The second one, it makes the most sense, right? Because it talks about logistically, it's the double disaster it's talking about, okay? The earthquake and the fire, okay? And the next sentence after that talks about what? What happened after the earthquake and fire. So it blends in completely. Okay? And that's how I want you to do this time. Okay? So, how to do this? Okay? If you take a look at it, okay? Find the clues. Number one, okay? There are usually in new sentences, okay? But sometimes they're in the reading passage already. Okay? What do you mean by that? Like pronouns. The one that we did was called this disaster. The two disasters. Okay? Okay? This disaster. This is a pronoun. It refers to what? Something. What is that linked up to? Right? So look at this. She, there, or there, these reasons, such, etc. These are pronouns basically connecting the previous sentence with this one. Okay? The other one is basically the transition nouns. Right? So here you go. We have what? Therefore, however, as a result, consequently. These things basically tell you what? What's going to be connected. Okay? So for example, if I say, therefore, David was running. Something tells me, something's going to tell me why I was running. Right? So therefore will tell me it will be a result of what I'm running. So the sentence before that must tell me because there was a dog chasing him or something. You can't say David was cooking, now David was running. It doesn't make sense. The transition words, right? For example, therefore, however, right? And as a result, these get interconnected with the previous sentence to link up a blending. Okay? Now, blending means it has to link up so that it connects. Okay? You can't say, hey, example, this one, you guys all know the word and, right? So it's a connecting word, right? So you say, oh, I was eating dinner and I ran up the stairs. Does it make sense? I was eating dinner and I cut some beef. Something has to be connected. Now this is the logic of it. This is not grammar. This is how people's logic of reasoning also goes in. So we're testing you on logic. The other one is first mention, second mention. What does this mean? Okay? So the English language here, we have a pattern. Okay? The first pattern is a noun right? Like for example, we use a, right? Teacher, I have trouble in the. Where do I put these articles? Okay, well, describe me. If I use a noun, like use a, the second time we probably use the. Now, does this really work? Well, think about the sentence. Okay, here's an example. Okay, a common problem in schools today is, students, apathy. Okay, the problem is a result of many changes in the United States. So you're gonna see a result and the United States. Can we do it the other way? The problem is the result of many changes in United States. And now you have to also think about singular and plural. But I'm not going to go into grammar. Okay, I want to tell you that these are clues. Okay, additional clues also tell you extenders. Extenders are furthermore, further, other, additionally, so, also, as well, too. Okay? These tell you that it's a continuation of a sentence before. So if you have a passage, a sentence that says, and they needed to run more, something like that, right? Then you're going to say, okay, and is something about running that has to be logically put together and before that. Okay. Now, even is another one. Which you're like, what is even, David? Okay. Well, even shows surprise. Okay. Or more than expected. They should come at the last of the series. Okay. Example is, if you take a look at down here. Okay. Businesswoman, policeman, college students, even grandmothers. Even is what? In addition and together. Or investing in stock markets these days. So when you took even things like even, right? They're like, oh, really? Surprisingly. So please, so take a look at this. Jot these down, okay? I'm gonna give you a few minutes. Here we go. I need, first of all, clues, pronouns. Write these down for me, please. Second thing, okay, is transition words. Okay, great. Now, the other one is mentioned first and second. Okay. The other one is extenders. Okay. Even, which is surprises. Right? Please jot this down. Okay. It's really important. You can pause this, but you need to jot these down. Okay. Now, here we go. Okay, so now, you guys all jotted down? Great. Okay, here we go. Now, this is, I'm gonna continue, okay? The other way is synonyms. Okay, synonyms are basically, here, I'll give you an example, here we go. Synonyms, okay? Thousands of Japanese came to the United States last year to study. Many of these students say they want to learn English for their career. Okay? So what are synonyms? Okay? Where are they? They're paired, aren't they? Okay, thousands of Japanese came to the United States last year to study. Okay? Now, if we take a look at the next sentence, many of the students say that they want to learn English for their career. Isn't that almost the same? Many of the students say that they want to learn English for their career. Okay? Yeah, it does. Okay? 50-40% is similar. Okay? Structures in also pairs too. On the other hand, right? In one hand, right? These don't mean on the contrary, right? Okay? In fact, okay? Now these are clue things to put in. Okay? The most common ones that come in IBT TOEFL are probably transitions, okay, and pronouns. We use that a lot. Okay, just a hint. Okay. Now, I need to go back to the paragraph and find the word that refers to it. Okay, these are pronouns, right? Now remember, TOEFL needs to be able to prove that the answers are correct, not just say it like it sounds best. Okay? It needs to be logically put in place. They can have sentences that sounds okay, right? But the thing is, it has to be logical. Okay? Make sure that the new sentence, right, makes sense in the new location. So please stick it into each one to find out. Okay?